Check, check. All right, here we go. This is Self-Publishing with Dale, where we're going to be doing a live answering comments session. If for some reason you have any kind of questions, you can either super chat or become a channel member. Every Friday, we're going to be doing this at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Daytime. Channel members are able to contribute inside the live chat. However, if you're not a channel member, you can stick around and still watch and just enjoy some of the answers and such to some of the questions inside these comments. A lot of stuff that people will bring up that you didn't necessarily think to ask, or maybe you were afraid to ask. Either way, these sessions are always eye-opening for a lot of people and gives you guys a little bit of insights about some of the comments I get on my channels. We are going to start it out with the podcast channel, and then we'll work our way over to the larger channel. If you don't know, I've got a larger channel. Got a much larger channel, Self-Publishing with Dale. There's no podcast at the end of it. So that one's been around a little longer. Gold MMO King, great to see ya. I see that my two channel member sponsors, that's a tier 3 sponsor, tier 3 channel member, is here. It's Samantha Michaels. That's SL Michaels. Make sure you go check out her YouTube channel, as well as Mojo Seedlack. Those two put out great information about writing and publishing. Definitely tune into their channels. Well worth it. Thank you so much to the two of you. And thank you to all of you channel members that help contribute. Now, if you're not a channel member yet, it's okay. You can still become one. You can click that join button directly below this video. If you don't see a join button there because you're watching on mobile, you can always go over inside the description. There's a link to the channel membership. Steven Serrell, where have you been, man? Thank you so much for becoming a podcast patron. I appreciate it. I will let you know, just as I'll let everybody else know, that you can be able to get all the information about the channel memberships. I will usually post members only posts inside the community tab. So make sure, folks, that you go to my main channel landing page, and whether you're on desktop or on mobile, you're going to go over to community. And typically I will put something like attention channel members. I think you guys are due for a nice little perk here pretty soon. And speaking of SL Michaels, look at you dropping me a 5 spot. Thank you so much. That's what kind of derailed me. I'm like, super chats for some reason like glitch my brain out. All right, just to address the elephant in the room, folks. Yes, I had to cancel for the very first time a live interview yesterday. That's of no fault to Professor Nez. I had some pressing personal issues that kind of came up, a bit of an emergency. So we attended to that. Thankfully, everything is somewhat back in order, so we should be back on track. I will get Professor Nez back on the show for sure. He is just absolutely fantastic. I should have just given him the keys to the kingdom, because he's just so good at live streaming that honestly he could have probably done a whole show without me, but I didn't want to leave him hanging. But yeah, we'll be back for the Professor Nez interview. That will happen. My banana's green, implying it's not ripe yet. Yes, Steven, it's not quite ripe. It ripens up next month. So and then it starts to, you get more bananas and explosions and flames and things like that. So a lot of really cool thing when you get the channel memberships. Okay, got to pay a little bit of bills here, because obviously, folks, the channel memberships do help out, but also what helps out even more are channel sponsors, such as the fine folks over at Book Award Pro. Folks, busy authors, let Book Award Pro do all the award submissions for you. It's like putting the book awards on autopilot. That's what Book Award Pro does. In fact, take a peek inside my dashboard. Actually, see, I'm not just a person that's sponsored by these guys. I went after them for the sponsorship, mind you. I asked them. But I'm also a user. You can see that I've already submitted 4 different books. So it says service canceled on these ones. I just said, okay, we got enough book awards on them for right now. And right now we have ones going up for the Amazon self-publisher. Well, so we'll go ahead and click on this. This is kind of cool. We match 15 awards. Targeting completed 11 days ago. Next analysis in 22 days. Submission completed 10 days ago. Next submission in 23 days. So it's showing all these things, showing what we submitted to, all the awards matches, and which ones we've won. Look at that. Boom. Boom. Already a freaking 3-time award-winning book. That just put me over the moon, just knowing that. And this is something that you too can do yourself. If you go over to dalelinks.com/bookawardpro, you could set yourself up with any of the 3 tiers. I use the Pro plan, the very top plan, because I honestly don't have time to be submitting my books to book awards. That's why I get them to do it for me. So in any event, take a look at that, dalelinks.com/bookawardpro. Let's go ahead into the channel comments, folks. Here we go. So for context, on the right-hand side, you're going to go ahead and see that there is a thumbnail and the title of the video. Left-hand side, you'll see the person commenting and what they said. So here we go. Let's dive into it. Walter Wyburn. Hey, what's going on, Walter? Before the video starts, I bet he wrote the truth about cancer. Now I'll watch the video, smiley face. And he's like, okay, not cancer, but that was my next guess. Nice. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I love how you guessed ahead. Well done. He gets a thumbs up and a heart for all of his comments because he's Walter Wyburn. All right, here we go. We've got one from Ben Gothard. Actually, I talked a lot about Ben in the last live stream with Restream, the self-publishing stream series. Say that 10 times fast. And Ben's got such an interesting story. You guys will have to go over and watch that last broadcast. But Ben said, a quick tip on getting guests. I let them self-select the time on Calendly. That is true. Get yourself a scheduler. This is something I'd recommend is if you end up trying to interview guests for like a podcast or a YouTube channel and such, get a scheduler link. You can get a free one through Calendly, I think. It's free up to a certain extent. There's also youcanbook.me, so you can book me. That one I use for like the longest time. Right now, I have a program called Harmonizely. I bought lifetime access to it through AppSumo. I'd recommend looking at Harmonizely as well. I don't know if they've got a free plan per se, but it's something to take a look at. I'm sure I've got an affiliate link for it. Just do your own due diligence, honestly. And if you're wanting to get an affiliate link, just direct message me. But yes, get a scheduler put together because there's nothing worse than playing schedule tag. You know, oh, what's your time like next week? Oh, I've got Monday and Friday open at 1:30 and 3:30. Ooh, that's not going to work out for me. What about the following week? Oh, well, I don't know. I got Tuesday, but other than that, nothing else. It's a headache. If you're going to end up being in this business of content creation and doing video, and especially working with guests in some capacity, get yourself a scheduler. In fact, I recommend anybody that's watching this, get a scheduler. If your intent is to do, let's say, for instance, work with other people or do any kind of marketing and promotion through interviews and appearances and things like that, get yourself a scheduler. Makes life so much easier. And you can be able to control the scheduler and where people can select. So for instance, I have all of my Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays blocked completely out. It's because I know Friday, I'm typically catching up with whatever fell through the cracks throughout the week. And then Saturday and Sunday, I always just try to take off. You can always do that however you want to. But I thought I would just kind of chime in on Ben's thing here. It's not surprising because I've worked with Ben and I've done some consulting with him before, gosh, a long time ago. And he's just done such great work. So, all right. On the sign-up sheet, they check a box of something similar to, yes, I'm cool with Ben repurposing this content into video, audio, and book form, knowing I can request it to be taken down at any time. Nice. So that's actually a really good tip. Thanks so much, Ben. Keep it minimal. Just give them the information up front and keep it this is the standard protocol, blah, blah, blah. Also, it's tempting to do a rev share. Excuse me. Sorry. Also, it's tempting to do a rev share, but don't. You don't want to have to track this and that will possibly involve attorneys. The guest gets the free promo and an advocate for life. Don't share the revenue unless it's automated and the other platform handles it. Well stated. Well stated. Yeah, for sure. Drafted Digital, if you do it through them, they handle it for you. So they do all the payouts and everything else. So I think that's kind of a cool thing. So we're going to thumbs up that right there. Thanks so much for the additional tips. There we go. Boom. So Ben here again, he says, you're totally right about turning them all. I gave him a hard time because he only has ebooks and sometimes paperbacks as stuff, but not all of them. So you're totally right about turning all of them into ebook, paperback, and audiobook. I should do that. Absolutely. And I'm looking to partner with an editor as we speak to go back through and do that now. The power of this publishing process cannot be overlooked because different people consume content in different forms and on different platforms. Easy for me to say. People who found me through Amazon may not have found me through YouTube and vice versa. They don't care if it's $2.99 here or free there. They care more about consuming the style they want whenever or wherever they happen to find it. Well said. Ben's the man, by the way, guys. He's about as sweet as the day is long. I've known him for, gosh, going on 4 or 5 years now. Dale, you are the best. Can't even articulate how grateful I am for your friendship, first and foremost, as well as the shout out in this video. Whoever is lucky enough to get into your ecosystem, please listen and absorb everything Dale says. You will thank yourself and Dale later. Man, you are the best. I do appreciate kind words. Thumbs up and heart. Boy, we're burning through these comments really fast here. We have one for Lee McManus in the KDP versus Ingram Spark video. Thanks, Dale. Very helpful. You are very welcome. Glad it was helpful. Here we go. Stay tuned for more. All right. Anthony G. Martinez has been a subscriber here to the channel for the last 3 months. Thank you so much, Anthony. Lulu ships through the main company of Ingram Sparks. It's Ingram Spark. It's all one word, and it's not plural. Lulu is a good choice, but very basic. Also, at least when I did Lulu, it has 2 options, global and its own marketplace, but that was paperback. I think ebook gives options. You're correct. You can deselect Amazon for your ebook distribution through Ingram Spark. I'll let him figure out it's Ingram Spark and not Ingram Spark, so I'm not going to be that guy. Although it does just absolutely just make me cringe every time I read that. Sadly, it's all or nothing after that. So you can't deselect Apple, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and whatnot. That kind of sucks. Thanks for being a subscriber for the past 3 months. Anthony? I think it was 3 months, wasn't it? Let's go double check that. 3 months, yes. That's just my opinion. All right, hit the reply. He gets a thumbs up, he gets a heart. JL Slipak has been a subscriber for the past 3 months as well. Great pod, thanks. Glad you liked it. Stay tuned for more. And thanks for being a subscriber for the past 3 months. Boom. Thumbs up, hearts. Author to reader with Christine M. Germain. Christine, she's been a longtime follower and supporter, especially over on Instagram. She's especially sweet to me. Great information on book awards. By the way, folks, my head's cutting off some of this here. My apologies. Great information on book awards, Dale. I just heard of Book Award Pro, and I will definitely check it out. You will not be disappointed. I still use Book Award Pro. I plan on using them indefinitely. As long as they'll have me, I will continue to put out more and more books for awards. I need to get some awards put on the Secrets of the Permafree book. So most likely I'll end up shifting that over here pretty soon. All right, so this last one's from answering comments last week. It's from Butcher's Respawn. Butcher actually's been here a few times, different name before. Hey, Dale, I have a question about Amazon categories. Is it better to target categories that have below 10 sales than to go for ones with a higher amount of sales? Sorry, in terms of targeting sales rank. Depends if you feel you can be, if you feel your content is relevant first, to the category, then are you going to be viable competition in that category? Second, I sometimes don't sweat if I'll be big competition. I focus more on how I can drive more sales. And increase algorithmic. Dang it. Why am I not spelling right today here, guys? Fingers are, it's still spelled wrong. Come on, Dale. Algorithmic. How about we spell it right? There we go. Increase algorithmic relevance. After all, relevance equals sales. So more sales that you have, more relevance you have. So there we go. It's a good question, and I think a lot of people might see this kind of backwards. So from time to time, when I'm doing some of these videos, it's very broad information. But in some instances, some of this information I'm going to give to you might not be applicable. So for instance, big supporter here of the channel, Linda Grace. Thank you so much, Linda, by the way, if you happen to be watching this on the replay, is a great example. We just had a conversation one time, and she lives remote, way out, in BFE, not able to really order any copies to send out as advanced reader copies or gifting out to podcasts or influencers and such. That doesn't make sense for her to do that, because she's going to put herself into the poorhouse trying to spend all this money to ship out from her remote location to send out to all these different people. That's just not applicable advice. So this is the same thing when it comes to, looking up your categories. You'll often see me say, okay, let's study the category. Okay, how many of those books in the top 10 of that given category are doing well? I say, generally speaking, if you see a top 10 category of, say, a rank of, this is the Amazon bestseller rank of 10,000 to as much as 100,000. So what that's saying is that 100,000 ABSR, you're typically getting about one sale every day or every other day. For something like 10,000, you're getting a little closer to, say, about like 12 to 18 sales within a given day. So I know I could easily be able to fill that between 1 and 18 titles within a day. That's not a big issue. But let's just take that example off to the side. Let's put it off to the side, because the real conversation we have to have, and I think this is something I've not done a good job of communicating with you guys, is you're not just trying to grab categories to be the all profitable person who's raking in the dough. Categories are simply a way of, organizing your titles into the right bookshelf. So think of it like going to the library. You're just at least allowed to put your book into each of those categories, as opposed to like a library where you go in one section and you're stuck there. So what I would just recommend is when you're selecting those 10 categories, think to yourself, not just, okay, will I be able to profit by going to these categories? No. First of all, the very first question you got to ask yourself is my title relevant? Now, I'm not talking algorithmically. I'm talking like perceived relevance. So if I've got, for instance, this book here about live streaming, and I see a category, let's say it's a category, it's, I don't know, nerd romance. Sorry, I don't know if that's a real category, but we got nerd romance or something like that. And let's say inside the romance story, it's probably about someone who can do live streaming and tech and such like that. Now, would that fiction story make sense to put into a nonfiction category? Probably not. Same way that we wouldn't put this into a nerd romance thing. I see a lot of people, and hey, look, one finger's pointing forward, three's pointed back, because I was just guilty as a number of years ago of just finding a category and going, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to do really well. Oh, it's kind of related to it. No, it needs to be fully related to it, because here's the problem. when you go and select that category, go into it. I mean, really look at the books. Does it make sense for your book to be in that category? So let me go ahead and illustrate this here for you folks. And we're going to move over to the main channel here in just a bit. So let me open up Rocket. All right, let's go to category research. Let's pretend like I got a book about business and money. Let's do this. I want to go back, and I'm just going to go ahead and isolate it down to ebook. All right, now let's go ahead and hit business and money. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort this based on lowest to highest. So that way I can kind of see, okay, where do I have a dog in the fight? And I start to just focus on each one of these browse paths. So let's say I've got a book, I don't know, it's about stock investing. How about that? We'll just run with that. I want to kind of use that since we're in this category here. So I look at this and I'm going, okay, I'm related to business and money. Is stock related to job hunting and careers? Well, there are some people who have careers in stock trading. Maybe it's good for business school guides. No. Once you get to this portion inside your browse path and you're stretching it, going, well, you can get careers in stock. But let's just say you're like, Dale, screw you. It looks great. All I have to do is sell 1 to 3 titles in order to actually place in the top 10 of this. This sounds fantastic. All right, let's go ahead and try this theory out. Check it out. Go over to the actual bestseller page, and you got to pay attention to the titles that are in here. So we've got one here. Number 1 has the top 20 interviewing questions. Next one's home-based jobs and business. Work from home and make 6 figures. Work while you sleep. How to find your passion. The 2-hour job search. Skills. Magnetic presence. I don't really see anything here that has stock investing whatsoever. So to me, if it's for something like investing, this may not work because it's clashing with the other ones. And that's the thing, is when you're selecting a category, you're kind of gently nudging the algorithm to like, hey, when you're promoting that other title that's near me here on the shelf, could you serve me up? And so that's essentially what you're doing with those placed categories. So one of the worst things that could happen is I've got this stock investing book. Okay, we're just using this as an example here, folks. Would it make sense for it to show up for work from home and make 6 figures? Possibly, because there is that element of making money. However, stock investing is not so much about working from home necessarily as so much it is to do with, making money. But it's kind of 2 different things. It's going to have 2 different audiences, 2 different interest sets. So that's why I say, when you're selecting out your categories, folks, do your due diligence. Really look at that and honestly say to yourself, do I match the rest of these titles that are here? Because if it doesn't match it, don't select it. Don't select it. It just makes 0 sense to do that. Tanya, how you doing? Easy Graphics, I saw you just slipped in here. Darren Powis, how are you? Steven Serrell says, I like the Essentials version of Book Award Pro. So the Essentials, I believe, is, that might be the 2nd tier, which is kind of nice. All of it's nice, to be honest. Great to see Easy Graphics. I appreciate you popping in, and thank you so much for handling things yesterday for me. I literally was out of the office, and I purposely don't put a lot of stuff on my phone. So that way I'm getting distracted by stuff all the time on my phone and such. So when we were out and about, the only thing I had was Discord. So reaching out to you, helping out, and letting people know, that was really awesome. I appreciate it for sure. Okay, let's get back to those comments. All right, so we're done with the main channel. I'm going to go ahead and slip this back over here. And if I missed the opportunity, I forgot to tell you, if you guys want to get your hands on KDP Rocket, or excuse KDP Rocket, wow, that's a blast from the past. You want to get your hands on Publisher Rocket, go over to dalelinks.com/rocket. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can always just send it back. You can always send it back. But I'll tell you that you're going to love it if you haven't had Publisher Rocket just yet. All right, so we're going to switch account. There we go. And I think I'd peeked at this earlier. It didn't look like there was too many channel comments today. Go over here. Get notified button is not working. Sorry to hear that. Not much I can do about that. YouTube does what YouTube wants to do. That's an old video too, if they just went through and got that. What program do you use to record podcasts remotely? That's actually Zoom. Zoom. You can natively record with them. No additional software. I prefer these days using Zoom, but recording with OBS. The issue with Zoom is they compress your video and audio content. I'd rather keep the file size large and quality good. Boom. I always like getting these questions about videos. You guys ever have questions about those type of things? Fire away. No one asks that too much. Is the tablet battery life good? Sadly, the 7 has good battery life, but it doesn't last near as long as the new 8 and 10. 109. There we go. Reply. I actually still have that tablet up here. I never use it. I use the Amazon Fire HD10. I just supposed to mail off the old version of the HD10 to my mother to give to my stepfather. Do you recall if these books were glossy or matte finish? They're gorgeous, and I'm going for the same look. Ooh, hardback books. I don't remember. Hang on a second. We'll look at the video here, and I'll be able to tell. Make sure I don't blast you guys out. Wow, this has been a while. Been a few years ago. 2 years. And I'm still wearing glasses, so yes, that is glossy. Yes, it was glossy. You can tell because when I hold it up, my recording lights reflect off it. With matte, you'd get a dull shine, not a bright one. There we go. Boom. Yeah, Lulu's got great hardbacks. Lulu's got great hardbacks. I'm going to say, though, that when it comes to all of the quality of print and such, the ones that I like the best, I don't know why I went through all that measure. The ones I like best are Ingram Spark, but I would say above all others, Barnes & Noble has the best print. Just the best. I'm disappointed in distribution, and also it's a pain in the butt. The way they do the covers and the interior it's just not worth the work for me. There are some people, if you're into Barnes & Noble, go for it. Keep doing it. There's obviously a market there, but I just don't have the patience to sit down and try to fix things. I've had a system pretty much in place for how I do Amazon and Ingram Spark, but beyond that, I don't do anything much for Barnes & Noble beyond ebooks. Mia Michelle says, "Hi Dale, I'm working on self-publishing my first book." Nice. "And I'm trying to understand what I need to do for self-publishing through Amazon KDP. Quick question about the ISBN. Okay. Can I just use my name to register my account with Bowker to buy the ISBN? I don't own a publishing company and I just want to self-publish my book myself. But I keep hearing people talk about imprints and creating their own independent publishing company. So can I just fill out the name for the author info and be good? You should be good. But why don't you do business as DBA a name beyond your personal one? Helps provide a layer of anonymity. And some professionalism. I'm not saying it's not professional to have your personal name on your imprints for your books, but the one thing is you have to kind of build into this. What if you become popular? What if you become famous? What if you end up blowing up really big? If your personal name is attached to that imprint, there's going to be a lot more scrutiny that's done towards that direction. So it's not the sexiest answer in the world, but do business as. So what I would recommend is do a little bit of due diligence, figure out a business name that resonates with you, it makes sense for you, but also make sure that no one else is taking it, or for that matter, trademarked it. And put that in there, that DBA, until you can file that business, because in the best case scenario, you would end up doing that. But since you own that account and those ISBNs, the DBA doesn't matter. You can call yourself Kermit the Frog for all that matter. Bowker only cares that you give the proper metadata when you file the ISBN for whatever given particular publication that you're putting out. So always, always, always talk to a business attorney. Don't just listen to some fool over on here on YouTube, because you need to understand that there's a lot more legalities and possible liabilities. So I don't know all of the liabilities that would be involved in something like this, but to me personally, I filed for an LLC almost right out the rip. Do I recommend that everybody do that? Possibly not, because sometimes it's not very cheap. But having an LLC or an incorporation does help kind of protect your personal assets to a certain degree. And again, provide that blanket of anonymity, because that portion of things doesn't need to be, no one needs to see behind the curtain on that. And though a lot of readers will probably won't even notice that your imprint is on your author name, potential collaborators or brand deals or sponsorships or even TradPub deals are going to scrutinize those little elements. So don't take it lightly. But again, I'm not saying it's unprofessional to have your name on an ISBN imprint. It's just going to be a taste. You know, what do you want to do? I really believe you should do business as, or get an LLC of some sort. So there we go. Consult an attorney for what best suits your needs. Oh, and welcome to the biz. You can get free access, and this goes out to everybody, by the way. You can get free access to the DIY publishing course for beginners. Visit https://diypublishing.biz/free. I have no intentions of ever marking that up. I do have intentions of redoing the whole course, so it's a little bit more updated to the brand that I have now. But otherwise, it's still a good option. The processor is still the same as the 2019 9th Gen 10-inch tablet using MediaTek MT8183 Helio. Yes, great, awesome. Thanks for sharing. That's the kind of stuff I really just, kudos to you, White Angelus. I appreciate that, but I don't care. Does it work? Great. Awesome. Processor? I don't care. That's like, tech is great. I've got a ton of tech. You can tell this, with the whole setup and such like that. I don't care what it is or how it works. I'm glad that it's working. I know there's some people out there that really do like that information, but for me, that's not me. I'm not going to sit here and nerd out and be like, well, the processor is blah, blah, blah. No. I will give a general overview of some of the things, and that's it. Just found you. Oh, awesome. Super helpful video. Thank you. I wondered, how do you know if someone's already using the imprint name you want to use? A trademark search. Is there a register with the ISBN companies, and would they check this when you're buying the ISBNs? No, they don't check that. Would the publisher name be your own name? I feel like this is like a repeat thing. Is this the same person? No. No. Yeah, that's crazy. Would the publisher name be your own name and the imprint be the name you choose to appear? And can you change the imprint name later? I don't think you can, but I'm pretty sure you can't. You can't change the imprint name. I'm in the UK and struggling to understand this. Good question. I personally feel you should consult a business attorney for what's best for your needs. Now, here's my opinion. Use a DBA as a placeholder. Later on, you can file a trademark and register your business when you can afford it. Alexis Soleil, it's great to see you. Hello, I'm having problems with my setup my Dark Romance Ingram Spark because the system's not allowing me to put my information in order. Huh. What? Alexis, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I told Samantha earlier, you guys know how to glitch my brain. You put in like a super chat and I'm like, I start to short circuit. Thank you so much. That's really nice of you, Alexis. I think you probably missed earlier this week. And I've since edited down the video, but I did, to a certain extent, cover Ingram Spark and my woes with them. I'm not happy with their user interface lately, and their support has been less than stellar. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to create enemies in Ingram Spark. I think they're a fantastic company. They've got great distribution, but right now their user interface leaves a lot to be desired, and their support needs a ton of work. Like they need to sit down and understand that we need more than canned responses. And if they're going to try to be somewhat in alignment with what Kindle Direct Publishing does, they need to get better with their customer service. I believe KDP is great at their customer service. Some people disagree with me on that. But I've very rarely had a bad customer experience with KDP. So yeah, my apologies. I can't give you more than that, Alexis. I'm having some issues too myself because Thomas Bradley and I have been trying to get his hardback done. All the files are correct. We're putting them on up there and we're getting it bouncing back for whatever reason. It got stuck on one portion. We don't know why. They go to like, okay, you go ahead, do it now. And then we're like, okay, great. And we finally did it. And they did something to the PDF that's beyond me. And I'm like, what are you guys doing with this stuff? So, all right, back to Jillian's comment here. Thank you so much again, Alexis. Later you can file blah, blah, blah. Okay, so yep. And you'll want to look into Nielsen for your ISBNs in the UK. Don't go with anybody else. Because third parties are only buying it from Nielsen. And meanwhile, you get their imprint instead of using your own. Let me know if you got more questions. And we'll hit enter there. Boom. All right, reply. Oh, thumbs up and heart, of course. That was a really good question. Nadia El Solo says, hi, Dale. Question. Okay, cool. I have a Canadian client who's looking to open a KDP account for self-publishing. If they want me to help manage their a KDP account, is there a way to add as an authorized user? Because from my experience, I wouldn't want them to share their credentials with me because Amazon may be tracking login IP addresses, but I'm not sure. Please advise on the best way to manage their account. Thank you. I helped manage an influencer's KDP account, but I got permission from them and permission from KDP. Once I was done working with him, I had him change his KDP password. No issues whatsoever. Again, contact them and get permission. Track all conversations. Reply. Thumbs up and heart. Now, there is probably a little bit of confusion, and if you're familiar with the merch space, you probably know that there's something that's called merch by Amazon. It's essentially like print on demand, like t-shirts, pop sockets, different things that you can be able to put a, graphic design on and such. Merch by Amazon and Kindle Direct Publishing are, very much the same. The one publishes books, the other publishes like products. So merch by Amazon, you cannot give access to other people. In other words, you can't hire any virtual assistant. It would be nice if they allow for something like that because it would make life a little easier. Because I'd probably hire somebody out to manage my merch by Amazon account, to be honest. With KDP though, I'd reached out to them. It's probably been about a couple years ago. I was working with, let's see here. Yeah, here we go. Well, come on now. There we go. I was working with Evan Carmichael, a good buddy of mine. It's crazy for me to even say something like that because Evan, I'm a big fan of his YouTube channel. He's got well over 2.5 million subscribers. It's probably 3 million by this point. He does a lot of inspirational, motivational type content over there, but he had some books that he needed help with. And it was astounding to me that he is this large influencer, yet I'm selling more books than he is. I'm like, what's happening here? Like, what are you doing? Because just his fan base alone should be able to bring in consistent income. Well, I looked into his metadata. His book descriptions needed work. His keywords were horrible. He needed to get some ads up and running. So that's when I reached out to KDP. I was like, hey, look, I've got a guy working with him. He's a large influencer, but the fact of the matter is he doesn't have the time to sit down and manage his own KDP account. Am I allowed to have access if he gives me his login? And they were like, yeah, there's no way to give him managerial options for something like that. But, using that login's fine. Just when you're done, tell them to change out the passwords, what they specifically told me. So I was like, easy enough. So I think the biggest misunderstanding is that a lot of people go, well, if you have 2 accounts, you're going to get shut down if they catch you using 2 accounts. Yes, if those accounts have some type of overlap. If you've got the same business name, if you've got the same billing address, mailing address, if you've got the same credit card information or bank account information across 2 bank accounts, that will require that they will terminate for sure. But where an instance like Evan, he's in a completely different country. He is, got his own business. He's got his own credit cards, bank accounts, all that stuff. So there was not going to be any overlap whatsoever. The only thing that would happen is an additional IP address is probably going to pop up that's going to be related to his account. How do they track that? I don't know. Do they track that? I don't know. But am I worried about it? No, because I reached out and I said to KDP, hey, may I do this? And they were 100% cool with it. So that was for me. If you plan on helping someone manage their account, it is your responsibility to reach out to them. And it's also going to be a case of, you can't go, well, I saw Dale Roberts on the video and he said that I can do this. If they tell you no, then it's no. Sometimes you're going to get a representative that doesn't know what they're talking about, and sometimes you'll get one that will know what they're talking about. I think I might have been fortunate to get somebody who understood the situation and allowed me to do that. And trust me, I tracked that conversation. Great thumbnails. Nobody ever says that to me. Kryptonian Black says this. Presentation and content. Thank you so much. I was wondering what sort of books you refer to when you say unofficial guides. I'm asking because the 2 books I've written may fall into that category. Typically, books like Unauthorized Guide to Nintendo Games and Walkthroughs. If you don't have permission from Nintendo, then chances are likely they may not like you using their name to make money. Good question. Thumbs up, heart. Adrian Mahadian, works only for ebooks. Thank you, though. I can't remember what the video was about. That's so goofy. You're welcome. My hubby was talking about having his own Kindle Fire, so I will sit back and watch for it to dip in price. Thanks for the review. Glad it was helpful, and I hope you enjoy the 9th gen. This is my mother, by the way, folks. She's commenting here, and I just went ahead and said, hey, why don't you just take my 9th gen? And so she was totally cool with that. Priom Biswas says, can you tell something about reading PDFs and text reflow option in Fire 7 with some other PDF apps, not the Kindle app? Sadly, I have no experience in that area. You can still email PDFs and ebooks to the Kindle app. I've got a video for that. Give me just a second here, folks. I'm going to break into the dashboard. I know I've got a video for it, but I don't remember when I did it. All right. There's a video that I show how to email your own ebook to you, or PDF, or anything else like that. I get free. Here we go. Downloading ebooks. So here we go. I'm gonna hit get shareable link. See here. Boom. There we go. Jasmine Gordon says, I have a question. How do you format a Nook book for Barnes & Noble Press Publishing? Very detailed. I've tried and did everything they said to, and it never works. I was just talking about this. Yeah, it's a real pain. I just hired out for B&N formatting. I don't know the first thing about CMYK. So I handed off as soon as I saw the work involved. Best of luck. Sorry, I can't be more helpful. There we go. Boom. Thumbs up, hearts. All right, this is going to be a little bit of a crapshoot here, folks. I'm going to click held for review. Typically, dicey things get tossed into here, so parental guidance is suggested. I usually keep things family friendly, but I can't account for anything that's inside the held for review tab. And we're clear. Nice. Good stuff, man. Wow. What a good broadcast. Thank you so much for spending your Friday morning with me. Hopefully you had yourself a good breakfast and a cup of coffee if you're into that type of thing, or some tea, or even a glass of water like I've had here. So It's next week on Monday. Join me at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Daytime. I will be talking about my 1-year case study with Book Award Pro. You guys are going to find out how much I spent throughout the process, what all did I get, and did it move the needle? That's going to be the biggest question, and you're going to be pretty surprised at the answers. Everybody already knows that I got 17 book awards within the course of a year. But how did I get it? What did I invest in it? What are some of the benefits and perks that I got from it? Because some of them were pretty awesome. I like the ones I got editorial reviews for. Speaking of, that is our sponsor for today, folks. In the course of this month, I'll be bringing up more about them. Just do yourself a favor and help support the cause here. Go on over to Book Award Pro at dalelinks.com/bookawardpro. Get yourself access. You will find all the different pricing solutions on over here, including the Essentials, the Plus, and the Pro. The Essentials plan will be able to just curate a list of awards that you could potentially apply to. For the Plus plan, they're a little bit more detailed. They curate it based on the type of content that you have. And last but not least, the Pro plan, which is what I currently have. They will cover one award entry fee every month for you. They'll curate it specifically for you. And the packages they put together for me are absolutely awesome. Like, it's just eye-catching and astounding. That's the best way to put it. So, but that's dalelinks.com/bookawardpro, folks. Next Tuesday, we will not be having the restream thing because the 7-week program is up, so I won't be back on Tuesdays. It will be just Monday. Heads up, though. We'll be doing a doubleheader this next week because the week after next, I will be taking a vacation. Yes, there's going to be some incognito time again. Rest assured, just taking the last week off in September and the first part of October, but I'll be back in the saddle then. But yes, we'll still be in business next week. It'll probably be a doubleheader. I have no idea what we're going to end up covering, but we'll see how that goes. Till later, folks, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and thank you to all the channel members, including SL Michaels and Mojo Seedlack, for being the sponsors for the channel here, the self-published sponsors. You want to learn more about the channel memberships, click the join button down below, or inside the video description, you'll see a link to the channel memberships. Till later, folks, have yourself a fantastic and wonderful weekend.